Everyone who has studied GIS knows that you need to normalize your data. But what does that really mean? When do you need to normalize it? How should you do it? Hi, I'm Heather and I'm a cartographer. In this video, I'm going to talk about normalizing data for choropleth maps. First of all, choropleth maps look like this. They are polygons filled with colors to represent quantitative data. Normalization is an adjustment that you do to your data to make comparisons more meaningful. And it's very important to normalize data whenever you're making a choropleth map. Here's an example. I'm working in ArcGIS Online, and this map shows population values from 2021 for the County of Halifax in Canada. It seems from this map that population is spread relatively evenly across the county. But let's zoom in and examine the data a bit more closely. In 2021, there was almost 1,500 people living in this dark purple area, and there were only 350 in this light yellow one. So of course, this one gets the darker color because there's more people in it. But maybe the only reason there's more people in this polygon is just because it's so big. It's not really fair to compare this giant area to this tiny one. Coloring the polygons based on the count of people in each one would only be meaningful if all the polygons were the same size. But my polygons are all different sizes, so instead of mapping population, I should map population density. The color should represent the number of people per square kilometer. You may have a population density field you can use ready to go in your data, but if you don't, you can continue to use the population total field and then divide it by land area. Here's where you would do that in ArcGIS Online, and here's where you would do it in ArcGIS Pro. The colors of this map have completely changed. It turns out that this small area is pretty densely populated. If I look at the imagery-based map, this little strip of land is full of apartment buildings, while this big one is mostly just woods and lakes. So the map of population density, the normalized map, does a much better job of depicting where people live and how many people live there than the map of population totals did. And if I zoom out, I can see that most people in this county live in and around the city of Halifax. Now, I happen to be familiar with this area, so when I saw this map, I immediately knew that something was wrong, and I remembered that I need to normalize my data. But it's surprisingly easy to forget about normalization, especially if you're mapping an area or a subject that you're less familiar with. And normalization isn't always about dividing by area. Please watch my next video because the rest of the normalization story is just as important.